สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ
Hello, my name is Mary Mazahim and I will be your moderator for today's event. Please welcome Dr. Suwanna. Hello, doctor.
Hi Mary.
So today we'll be talking about the power of our heart health, or mainly how our lifestyle and bad habits can really affect. So doctor, can you please explain a little? So is heart problem really about lifestyle or genetics?
Well, both. But I would need to tell you that genetics might play a role at like less than 20% of heart disease that we have encountered during these days. And like the rest 80% is actually the things that we can change, like it's all in our hands actually. Like in terms of lifestyle, what I mean is like a sum of like both exercise, good sleep, stress reduction, and of course, picking the good things to eat. Well, good things and expensive thing doesn't have to be the same thing, right? I think we're going to go into that one by one. And of
Okay.
course, the thing that we can do is maybe we would need to do a little bit of like checking to really optimize our body, like our nutrition, our hormones. People were just going to kind of focus on the cholesterol. Yeah, that's important, but that's a lot of things, like a lot of else that we can do. So,
Okay. So
mhm.
we can say that saying that heart problems just come from your genetic is a myth, but it's more so from your habits and lifestyle choices that really make you have a heart problem.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that, well, genetics test is quite uh, accepted in lots of hospitals. In VitalLife or in Bamrung Ride, it's really common right now. We have been using it for a long time. And it doesn't mean that if you have your parents, maybe both parents, sometimes love has its way. If both of your parents has the genetics, or even if yourself has that genetics, it doesn't mean like this is a death sentence anymore. If this was asked maybe 20 years ago, we would just think, why do we need to check the genetics? There's nothing we can do, but it's not true anymore. We do have like epigenetics. We do have lots of things in terms of even lifestyle, not medication, that can override the bad genetics if that's the case.
And how about in today's world of digital work and work from home condition and overworkload? What do you think is the main heart problems among people today?
The matter is, those things cannot be changed like tomorrow, right? I cannot give the recommendation. Okay, so when that, why not you go quit your job? No, that's I'm sorry. But the thing is about balance and
Mm-hmm.
overworking. Well, that word says in itself that's not a balanced thing. But the world is getting narrower and narrower. So lots of times we need to work in the morning, in the afternoon, and maybe a little bit at night or early hours in the morning with someone across the world from us. That's what happened. It doesn't have to be like shift work, like when we are working like a medical personnel or a flight attendants anymore. Now these things can happen to literally everyone. So it's about the balance, that how are we going to find the time for like those exercise, for maybe a little bit of time that we can do mindfulness practice. It has nothing to do with whatever religion that you have, right? Mindfulness is internationally accepted as one of the things for longevity and also for preventing the cardiovascular disease. And those commitments, and oh, and of course sleep,
Yes,
one of the
of
main
course.
things that we tend to forget since a really, really young
Me.
age.
I forget that often.
Don't we all? Like at least part in our lives is like the thing that is not the first priority for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And but that can have a cumulative effect at one point in life. Well, at one point, since if you're at your 40s, 50s, you might start to feel the effect. But even if you don't, you're such a working, hardworking employee and all those things. But it would just affect you in your 60s or 70s anyway. Well, this is like a general speaking. We are not going to talk about someone who born with a really good protective genes. Like genetics
Mhm.
can be a good thing. You would see someone who's like smoking all their lives and they don't have any heart disease, cancer, or whatsoever. And you might see someone who can drink every single day since they were in their teens, but nothing happens to the liver at all, but they have good genetics. But that's not the thing that we're going to address, right? They are like general recommendation that when we don't know what kind of genetics that we have, even though our parents live long, doesn't mean that we have those genes. So
Sadly.
don't fool yourself. Now that we all have the thing that we need to do. And
Can we say that in today's society, the condition or the problem of heart is not just for old people anymore or people who overwork, but now it can affect students or people who are younger who don't really prioritize self-care or their sleep as much.
yeah, we see that in the news all the time, right? Like whenever it happens to young people or even young athletes. But lots of
Yes,
times in young athletes, they do have heart disease since birth, but they don't know with some reason because sometimes it's kind of hard to detect unless you do a thorough exam at least once in our life. If we have time, I think I'm going to go into that later today. Um, if you don't, we're going to have to go into the webinar then. But anyway, that's like exceptional case. But heart disease, when I was a medical student, somewhere around 20 plus years ago,
ooh,
heart disease is for someone in their 60s or 70s. But at least for the past 5 years, it happens to someone in their 30s or early 40s more and more often. Like the average age is now almost like 50 plus years old, which is quite scary. Well, our evolution cannot keep up with the lifestyle that was changed and the food that was changed, not to mention about like the time management or the sleep that you were talking about. The
I
food
agree.
changed drastically and our genetics was not designed that way, unfortunately. Yeah.
Is that why we see a lot of new news or case about, like you said, young athlete or like students having heart problems and because of
Mm-hmm.
the food that we were not ready for, and maybe the digital tools that are stopping us from sleeping or even practicing mindfulness activities.
Yeah, the food is really important part. And well, digital tools were designed to capture our attention. So, well, it's not just like resting, you're just scrolling through things. No, your brain is working hard all the time because that's what it was designed to do, to capture your attention. And a couple of hours will pass without you even knowing, which,
So
well,
true.
we are
Guilty.
talking about blue lights. Yeah, that might be one of the things that interfere with our deep sleep since it's going to interfere with the melatonin, the hormone secretion, and well, the hormones, this melatonin, and also the growth hormones that will come out when we have deep sleep is really important in terms of antioxidant effect and in terms of repairing our body. And well, not much of a standard practice is focusing on it now, but actually that's the thing that will be ruined with like late night mobile phone scrolling.
So
And
true.
lots of people do that, right? And even kids they start to do that even now.
Yes.
So it's not just the old people thing anymore. This cardiovascular disease will not just the heart and the brain, two organs that contains roughly the same size of vessels. So if it happens to one organ, it will happen to another.
Mm.
That's why we see that some of the people with high blood pressure will have the brain and the heart issue at roughly only a few years apart if they don't do anything to try to prevent it. And
In
that's a
terms
shame. That's a shame actually. Is the thing that we can do. It doesn't have to be like I don't have like that much of a time to go to the gym. Actually, there's something that we can do.
there's always time.
Yeah.
So talking about the negative side of the digital tools, how about the positive side? Is there any ways we can use digital technology to help us have a better life or a more balanced lifestyle?
Uh, I have seen recently, I don't remember the source, but I have seen that there are lifestyle applications that might focuses on many things like sleep, like exercise, like mindfulness, stress reduction, or even help with your addiction.
Hmm,
Um, there are around 300,000
that's a lot.
applications up to date in the market. Yeah, that's like internationally. So some of the application might be locally in some countries or some languages. Not all of them are in English. But just want to say that there are a lot of things for us to find. Or even though we don't have like the certain applications for that, lots of gadgets were and lots of smartphones are built in with let's say steps count or sleep time or snoring like they sleep apnea. They're listening to us all the time. You know, every smartphone is listening. Be careful about what you say. And but so they can listen to when we are like snoring at night,
Hmm.
something like that. They were really smart, but it depends if you're using it as a phone. So so maybe it's around like 20, 30,000 baht. I'm not sure how much it costs. Or the watch that was like 30,000 baht, let's say, for example. We have many brands in the market, right, with varying degrees of price and applications. But if you are using just only 200 baht of them, like a watch or like a phone, then it's not going to work. You don't have to just go for the app that was needing like subscription or any payments. Actually, the basics ones can help if you were using it and if you know how to use it right. Actually, I do have some example about the how are we going to use all these digital tools, and let's say that lots of doctors are not that familiar with the information that was from these tools, like what it is and how are we going to adjust it. Well, not fooling the app, okay, not just putting the watch on your dog and then you're walking a lot, not like that. But how are we going to adjust that to the optimum level, to our balance level? Like everybody's balance is not the same. So can I have the one slide? This is like the screen capture, and okay, this is from Apple.
Apple
Now,
Watch.
yeah, Apple Watch, and on the right side is Aura. That's the ring, and the information that you see here, you see that the some of the apps doesn't focus on the steps anymore, but they're taking a look at like the time that you do your workout and the distance. They will just calculate a rough kilocalories that you burn, and of course the heart rate. The important thing for a cardiologist like me is well, it's not just the time, it's about the heart rate zone that you are going up here. They're actually how we are going to like calculate the zone of the heart rate. We might be able to go deeper if we have more time. Just go into the webinar. This is the second time. So but we want you to be in somewhere around zone 2 or 3 for some amount of time. But if my patients, well, there are two things that my patients or even healthy people that do the consultation with me will say. One is they don't have enough time to do like 20, 30 minutes exercise. And the second thing is that they still cannot reach zone 3 or whatever zone that the fitness guru were talking about. Okay. And three things. They cannot do it like 4 or 5 days a week.
Problem with consistency.
Well, the real recommendation that we're going to do is like 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. So it's like 150 minutes a week. And they said they cannot do that. I just need to say that one, if you can do just only 5 minutes a day, of course we have 5 minutes. We stay in the restroom longer than that with our phone. Let's be real here, okay? Let's be real. So 5 minutes a day, it means that you're going to give me 35 minutes a week of exercise. Good. That's one good commitment. So it's actually a research data that this is more than zero exercise. You would get a long-term result anyway. And if better than that, you just do a high intensity exercise, HIIT. So if you can do 10 or 15 minutes, that's even better. And that's the thing. If you are going to like talk to the wellness doctor, we can just adjust how to do the exercise. We call it exercise prescription to suit you best. That's the thing that we can do. It depends. So the second thing about the heart rate zone, the heart rate zone in here, we just need your age to calculate. I'm not going to go deep into that. We'll just do with our calculator somewhere in the future, maybe the next couple of weeks, right? So if you're going to be interested in that, just stay tuned. But when we need zone 3, if you cannot do that, that's fine. You can keep zone 2. Or no, if you still cannot do that, it's better than resting heart rate anyway. So you just do zone 1 first, maybe just go up to zone 2 a little bit, 1 or 2 minutes, and then you just go back to just walking really fast. And then that will be it. That will be better than just sitting in front of your computer all day.
So if I were to have like a 5 minutes workout per day, if I was super busy and I need to do 5 minutes per day, which zone would I be in this 5 minutes?
How old are you?
I'm 24. I'm 24, and I do like HIIT workout. I do a lot of HIIT workout, but in a very short period of time.
Well, so, actually, it's the age is not that important anymore in terms of longevity. I need to say this first, okay? If you're watching and you're in your 60s, 70s, 80s, it doesn't matter. Like lots of people in that age can have the fitness level of someone in their 40s or 50s. Yeah, maybe it's not the same level of someone in their teens or 20s. But the age is just a number. Now we know all the things that we can adjust, including the lifestyle, supplements, and those adjustments with nutrition and all those hormones. But let's say if you're in your 30s, well, you look like a 20-something-year-old, but okay. So it's completely fine if you're going to do a high intensity exercise. So go up to zone 3, maybe touch a little bit in zone 4 just for fun, And if you just have like 5 minutes, that's completely fine. I'm not going to say this if you are in your 60s or 70s without any exercise before. This is the thing that we need to practice. So it will just go up bit by bit. And at one point, it's going to be too comfortable for you. Like walking really fast is too comfortable for me. And then you just go to a little bit of jogging, okay? Or maybe you would just like walking really fast, but you're going uphill. Trust me, I tried. That changes a lot of things. And at one point, it's going to be too comfortable again. The key is you need to be quite disciplined to do it regularly. And then your body will adjust eventually. And that's how you were getting younger. Well, not the age, but your biological age is getting lower and lower by the time that you were doing exercise.
So always keep pushing your limits and starting slow and always making sure you're consistent with your body.
Not that much of a limits. Well, if you're not going to into like competitive sports, I'm not going to mind at your age, but at least get one heart exam, okay?
Okay.
Like lots of young people are pushing their limits like to zone 4 or 5, and if there is something that we don't know that they have or you have, it will show up with those harsh exercise, which is not going to benefit and is going to pose danger to your health. So at least do some screening for the heart disease or vascular disease at least for months before you are going to like all those strenuous exercise. If you didn't do that at all, at least the checkup, like yearly checkup that literally everybody should do. As a cardiologist, I've been asked a lot that when I'm going to start to do the coronary calcium score, when I'm going to start to do vascular age or echocardiogram or exercise stress test. Well, all these things are the tests for the vessels. I would say, what's your lifestyle? If you're doing exercise, just do it for once at least. And then maybe you just do it another time at 35, 40, that's fine. And then just do it every year, or calcium score can do every 5 years. Okay. Yeah, not much of a time for detail on that, but at least do it once.
Okay.
We're going to the test later. And well, the third recommendation before I would need to take my brain supplement is that if you cannot do it every day, you say that you are pretty busy. And well,
Yes.
I kind of believe that that our audience must be quite busy, and maybe lots of you watching is a one that is working like overseas. So of course the time cannot be, well, it's not in your hands to choose the time that you're going to work or the time that you're going to do exercise. I always say to my patients or like healthy people that come to consult that you intend to do exercise every day. Keep that intention. 5 minutes is fine, 10 minutes is a bonus. Or maybe you can go for a full exercise, like going to gym, going to class, or running outside if you don't like indoor exercise. Yeah, you might do it, but intend to do it every day. And with working lives, or maybe like a mother, a father, that's a full-time job. You will be able to do it at least 3 or 4 days a week. If you intend to do it 3 or 4 days a week, you're going to be doing it one time a week on weekends. That happens a lot, and we need to be real here. Okay.
That's so true. Next is about mindfulness, right? How can mindfulness be used to improve our heart condition, or how can the lack of mindfulness practice really affect us?
That's a lot. Well, there's a lot of research on that. Not just like the heart and the brain. Well, in terms of mindfulness to prevent heart disease, it's quite straightforward to decrease the stress and also the stress hormones. So if we decrease the stress hormone, the sympathetic nervous system, well, the fight or flight response. Our body will just go into like a rest and digest mode. So the heart doesn't have to work that hard in terms of workload, heart rate, blood pressure. So this is going to prevent the disease that like hypertension. And of course, it's going to prevent heart disease and stroke because we can just prevent it from the starting point. But mindfulness has many more things in terms of scientific evidence. Like let's say longevity, it helps with decreasing the inflammation in our body. So it helps us with the genetic stabilities, like our DNA, our molecules tend to be more stable and not be destroyed that easy. And that's how our body regenerate ourselves. If we don't have that blueprint, well, our genetics is our blueprint. So we go back to our blueprint every time when we're trying to fix ourselves, whatever we do to our body. So when we cannot fix ourselves anymore, the stem cell is not there, the blueprint is not there. That's how we get old. That's how aging process happens, and that's how those diseases started. So this is where mindfulness come in. Also, in the terms of brain disease, I need to talk about this, even though I'm a heart doctor, but around memory issue. Well, we tend to get like at an older age society, and we will see a lot of people have memory issue or like the diagnosis of dementia, not to mention Alzheimer's. We have a lot of dementia type. Alzheimer's is just one of the most common ones. But it helps in terms of prevent dementia as well. Yeah, and exercise too. That's these two, and sleep is one of the best thing. No medication can top that. So that's why I would just say at the first when we begin the session that is like 80% is lifestyle. That's the thing that we really need to focus on and invest. I use this word investment. This is a really good investment. And so the third screen that I show here in terms of mindfulness, Aura is the brand name of the ring that was designed to track sleep and mindfulness exercise like meditation. Maybe it doesn't have to be Aura ring. They like literally almost all of the smartwatch will give the information about mindfulness practice or even stress level like heart rate variability to some extent and to some accuracy, more or less. Okay, but you can see here that it can track and also can give notification every day at a fixed time that you can just adjust to whatever time that you're thinking you're okay with. That okay, this is the time to wind down a little bit, or maybe give like 5 minutes to do some deep breathing exercise, and that's it. So, and well, this is not the number here is not the number that is like a good example. But seeing this, it's like having these gadgets. It's like having a health conscious friend, or sometimes it's more like a health conscious mother that keep telling you that this is the thing that you should do. And with some of them, the app was designed to motivate in both negative and positive ways. It depends on what you like. Just go find it in the market. But it was designed to motivate you from time to time, so you can be on track. Like literally no one can do it like every day unless you go live on the island. There must be some part in our lives like, okay, this is like the end of year report, or your kid is about to start school next week, or whatever situation. So this thing will just help you adjust.
Is there any mindfulness practice recommendation you have for like at least 5 minutes per day without meditating? Apart from meditation, is there anything else you think is quite beneficial and very easy to do 5 minutes per day?
Well, hobby.
Okay,
um,
that is easy.
no, lots of people are telling me that they cannot just sit still and close their eyes and do a breathing exercise without thinking of the work that they're about to do, or even what are they going to have for dinner. and and actually that's the way our brain is doing all the time. Well, I need to tell you that it is quite important that you would need to try to shut down your brain a little bit. But if that's not a possibility, maybe you just need to find some hobby. Now goes back to those digital thing. Like you cannot just go for like a drawing, painting, all those preparation that you will need to do at home before everything is going to be a mess. There are some applications for that too, in terms of like drawing or painting. But this is just like a example, the first thing that come into mind, and that's the actual thing that some of the people feels like it distract them into something else, not work, but it's not like just sitting down and meditation. But actually it's the hobby that you like. Maybe you would just do gardening. Maybe you just have one cactus at your condo. Lots of people doesn't live at home that has like the garden that they can go out pruning, watering plants, right? But maybe you just have 2 or 3 little cute cactus at home, and then you just take 5 minutes on taking care of it. Come on, everybody can take care of cactus.
Well, actually, to be honest with you, I have made cactus diet many times, but I paint and do other stuff for my hobbies.
Maybe you would need to consider changing the hobby then.
Yes, I agree with you. I think any activities that take your mind off your work, even if it's drawing, gardening, I think that's very important, even for 5 minutes per day.
Yeah, and well, just focusing on your health, like maybe it's just like reading. It's not the same, okay, because it's like still the information that comes in. But if you can go in and read the thing that you are not normally do, like okay, how to do high intensity exercise, or how am I going to calculate my heart rate zone, or that's a good start, right? And it's not going to take more than 5 minutes. Or how am I going to cook with healthy oil? That's the thing that you can just get your mind out of the work that you were doing all the time, or getting your mind out of that screaming kids in another room that is going to make you crazy.
So can we say that a good mindfulness practice can be anything that takes your mind away from your normal or stressful environment?
Yeah, that's definitely. And oh, and maybe you can just thinking what I'm going to do for the shake-up this year, since you say that you're going to do the high intensity exercise. Have you ever get your heart checked?
No, never in my life. But I should now.
Hmm. Right. Like well, for young people, well, in terms of chronological age, the age on your ID card, okay, we can be younger or we can be older than the age on your ID card. But I'm going to say use that as a reference for discussion's sake. Okay, from the ID card, you might just only need to do like a stress test. So you go, it's like you go exercise for the doctor to see. Well, they're hooking you in on the machine, but now they're going to have a good look at your heart, why it's working really really fast and working really hard, like if there's going to be an issue. But if your ID card says that you are somewhere around 40 years old or more than that, maybe that's the thing, like a basic thing that you would be doing every year. So just to keep track if there's any blockage on the vessels. Well, a small blockage is not going to show, okay? Other tests will help, but at least to a significant blockage, like 70% or more than that, will show on the graph. So that's the thing that we'll be able to detect before. Well, it's better to be able to see this thing on the treadmill at the hospital, not on the treadmill at the gym. So that's the thing that I would just advise you to do. Like that's pretty easy.
Yes.
But for someone who is having the risk of heart disease, or if they were having like the family history of heart disease, or maybe they have done the lipid profile test, cholesterol, or the advanced lipid profile. Well, cholesterol is kind of like conventional concept at the moment now. We do have lots of things that can give us more information than that, like a inflammatory marker, HSCRP, or lipoprotein little a, ApoB. I'm not going to go into detail, okay? But all these things, if you do have the risk, maybe it's better that you would do the coronary calcium score. So this is the thing that can help us to decide if there's any damage that was already happened. To put it simply, coronary calcium score is using to count. Calcium is a score, is a number. It's using to count the calcium that was attached to your heart vessel. So if you do have the blockage, like the cholesterol or the inflammation at the heart, Now it's widely accepted that the inflammation is the part that cause the heart disease or any vascular disease. Okay, it's the concept that 20 years ago some people would just say that that's not true. That's a total. I shouldn't say that on on air. Okay, but now it's like widely accepted about inflammation. That if the doctors doesn't mention inflammation, they would not need to just go update the knowledge. But that's the thing that I can say right now. If they have that some inflammation in the vessels, our body would just put the calcium onto it, just like when we building a house and we do the cement. And that's the thing that we can detect pretty easily. And it's not going to take more than 15 or 20 minutes for the test. So if you are fall in that category, that may be the thing that you would need to do. I think I have some question here, right? Maybe we'll go through the question before I would just touch a little bit on the vascular age.
Yes, the question is, what exercise recommendations do you have for those with asthma? Something not too intense.
Asthma at the moment, if you still do have the attack during the exercise, it means that the asthma is not completely controlled. The control of asthma with the knowledge that we do have right now, nobody would know that you have asthma. Actually, you just go hiking, you just go triathlon. That's not going to be an issue. So the first thing is to go back to control your asthma first. This is the on-point question because this is one of the inflammation that I was talking about. So, like the chronic allergies, maybe even not asthma, like it was like raining in Bangkok during this past couple of days. And there are going to be some people who the nose and the throat is working better than the weather forecast that today is going to rain. Like they were having the sensitivity, the allergies that was like attacked during this day. This means that our airways, our immune system is still too sensitive to the things that it shouldn't be sensitive to. So if you do have asthma attack, you will need to control it with inhalers, with some local steroids. Local steroid is not going to affect your overall health. It's not the same with systemic steroids. And of course, get your lung checked, get to see if there's anything that triggers your inflammation all the time. It can be done at the same time with the annual checkup, just like food intolerance test, for example. That lots of times when we do that, it's a lot easier for those people, even kids, to control their asthma. And after that, you just gradually increase the exercise until the point that you're able to do whatever. So just like other people. So for you, Miss Pim Patra, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's the first thing on your homework. Not jump into the gym, but now we're going to have to take a look what triggers your asthma all the time.
And then
maybe she's going to marathon next year.
Good luck. Okay, any more questions? No more questions, I think.
Well, during this, since we're touching about the vascular, as a cardiologist, I cannot not say about vascular age. I think some of our audience might be familiar with vascular age because we do that for quite some time in VitalLife too. And I would just say that you are as old as your vessels. If your ID card says that you are 45, but your vessels are 70 years old, you are 70 years old. Okay, you're not going to live longer than that. So that's the thing that we really need to take a look into. And getting the vascular age is like measuring the blood pressure and measuring the flexibility of the vessels. So young vessels is like a young rubber tube. So it's really flexible. It bounces back every time it got compresses. But on the other hand, old vessels. Looks like the rubber tube or the watering hose that was like in the summer for a long period of time. So it tends to crack and it gets more rigid, but really fragile. So that's how old vessels do. And that's the thing that we have, like heart disease, like heart block, and the stroke, like the vessels got burst in the brain, something like that. That's because the vessels is not strong enough. So when we were measuring, this is one of the pretty easy tests that we are able to do in just on your exam, like on your annual exam day. Like it shouldn't be possible that you can dedicate like maybe half a day or maybe a day in a year, right? For like a thorough checkup. So this add around like maybe half an hour, no, not 15 minutes. And then you get the result. And the result might be painful for someone because it's going to tell you directly your vascular age is suitable for your age or your vascular age is older than your age.
So basically, you're not old. Your vessel is.
Yeah. Like it doesn't matter about your wrinkles, dark lines, whatever. Well, I'm not saying that it's not important. Of course, it's important. Okay. But it's not as important as the age from like the inside of your body, your organs, your heart, your liver, your brain age. And well, we can measure it all actually, but in terms of vessels age, that's one of the things that is pretty easy to measure, and it was like internationally standardized at this point in time. There's a lot of research backing up, and it's even possible that if you do have your vascular age advanced than your age, like your vessels has more wrinkle than your face. So we can adjust things, not just the cholesterol and the blood sugar. Sugar is poison, by the way, not to take sugar, okay? Um, but we can just focus on some of the vitamins, some of the supplements, for example, like Q10, like vitamin C. But it can be adjusted, well, person to person. It's not like, okay, you go take this 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're good to go. There's nothing like that in this world. But we can adjust after seeing the result that, okay, with supplements or which type of lifestyle, which type of exercise is going to be good for you. The type of exercise I didn't mention is like the strengthening exercise that like weightlifting or like core muscles exercise that helps a lot in terms of longevity, because it helps with your balance, with your joints, and you're not going to feel it now, but of course you're going to feel it in your 80s. It's going to determine, are you going to go into your 80s like with the brain still sharp, with walking straight, with like broad shoulder, or you're just going to in your 80s like this, you know.
So is weight training better than cardio for longevity?
Unfortunately, you need to do both.
Oh, so there's no easy
Like
way out.
in the process of aging, well, there's a lot of process that we now know. We call it like hallmarks of aging. And in terms of exercise, there are a lot of ways of exercise that attack into a different hallmarks. Not going to go into that. Otherwise, you're going to need to give me like 3 days and 2 nights boot camp, and then I'll just go into it. Like which type of exercise or which type of supplement do what. But yeah, the knowledge is vast now, and that's why I would just say that yeah, we need to personalize for each and every one of you. That yeah, it's not like a pre-packaged thing, and then you just take it for 3 months or something like that. Miss Pimpatra says vascular age sounds so scary.
It is. It is.
It is scarier than your face age.
Yeah.
You just didn't see it.
Yes.
But
Yes.
that's
Yes.
true. That's even more true.
So I think the main outcome for today, the main recommendation is to get your vascular age check out. I think because it's definitely more visible than your wrinkles or your age line, right?
Yeah. That's
Is there
definitely.
is there anything else
And
you want to add on, doctor?
um, well, I think there is any more question for now, right?
No more
Mm-hmm.
question. Yes.
Okay, that's okay. Just don't
Okay.
forget like the 80% of the lifestyle. But yeah, we can attack more with like how to design that lifestyle. It's like it it's not the day that your doctor would just say, okay, you go do some exercise. You don't stress that much. That's an easy thing to say. Now we have like lots of gadgets. We have lots of these trackers that can help. And yeah, but maybe it's going to be quite complicated. You're going to do it on your own. So that's how the wellness doctors come in. Like, okay, now we're going to design it together so it suits your balance, and that's all.
Okay, thank you so much, doctor, for your insightful information. I think today we have learned a lot about how, well, your heart health doesn't really depend on your genetic, but it's mostly 80% your life choice and habits. So I think it's time for all of us to get our vascular aid check out, get our body check out, and really consult your wellness doctor about that personalized program that you want. And if you liked today's discussion and you want to learn more, please feel free to pre-register for our seminar on the 28th of August. Admin, can you please show us the QR code, please? Here is our QR code. So please don't forget to check this QR code out and get your pre-registration by scanning the QR code. And the date and time for our full session is on the 28th of August, 2023 from 2:30 p.m. until 3:30 p.m. And one last thing, everyone, I think that the next session is highly worth it because you're not going to get just information from doctors, but also exclusive giveaway from VitalLife, which is one complimentary treatment at the center and 5 exclusive privilege for free doctor consultant. So if you want information and free treatment, now is your time. So please get this QR code, check out. And if you're on your mobile phone or tablet, screenshot the screen and see you on the 28th, everyone. Thank you so much. ขอบคุณมากค่ะ
See you.
Thank you.